So the Saturday games for the Champions Cup. There are 6 games on. Some pretty interesting matchups here. I've written these numbers next to the teams. That is their win, loss, and draw record so far. So a team with a 1 in the middle, no wins, 1 loss, no draws. That's the way it works. So yeah, the first one, Castres against Exeter. It's going to be an interesting one. Obviously, you got the French champions up against an Exeter team who last week will probably be a bit disappointed to only walk away with a draw. So yeah, Exeter 1 draw, no wins, no losses. It was 10-all against Munster for them. For Castres, it was 19 points to 14. They went down at Gloucester, but they are back home now. They've got a pretty good record from what I've read against Premiership opposition, so they'll be looking to get things underway here. Exeter, having not taken advantage of that first game at home, probably need to get their act into gear as well, because you don't get that much time in the Champions Cup. Should say there is a helicopter kind of buzzing around my house. I think it's the police helicopter. I can see it out my window. If it flies over the house, may get a little bit noisy. So yeah, both teams looking for their first win. Castres have made 4 changes to that side that lost over in England. Steve Murphy is in the second row, which is going to be interesting. For Exeter, they've had to change some guys in the second row. So you've got Van der Slees and Atkins in the second row. It's an unchanged back line. So fairly settled side for Exeter. But yeah, it has the look of a cracker for this one. So I'm interested to see how it goes. Exeter are playing on an extra day's rest. So come the last kind of 10-20 minutes, that also could be a deciding factor. The bookies have got Exeter by 2. So despite English teams having trouble over there, yeah, they're giving us very slight favourites for this one. So we'll see if they can kind of make the most of that. The next one sees Munster against Gloucester. It's the same pool. So these are both pool number 2. So same results. Munster drew with Exeter, and Gloucester had a narrow win over Castres last time. But I mean, from what I've seen of that Gloucester game, it looks like they probably should have won that one by more. So perhaps we should look at them as slightly stronger than what we saw from them in that performance last week. For Munster, I don't think many of us gave them too much of a chance heading into was it Sandy Park to play Exeter. But yeah, they really showed us. The coach has been under a fair bit of pressure. There's, I don't know, a fair bit of talk about his kind of, I guess his job. I'm not sure if it's quite at that point, but from what I've read, there's always a bit of talk about how he's going. And that certainly stopped after last week's draw. But still, both teams, I mean, Gloucester being the only team which has had a win in this pool, will want to be kind of pushing out as far as they can to try and get ahead. Munster happy with that away draw. Now it's time to pick up a win there at home. For Munster, you got Cronin, Marshall, and Ryan in the front row. Scannell has a knock, so he is not playing. For Gloucester, Ed Slater is back, and he is captain. Banahan is in on the wing. Munster by 13 is what the bookies are saying, so they're giving them every opportunity to win this one and possibly even get a bonus point. Munster are playing with an extra day's rest, having played a day earlier last week, so again, that could be a factor in this one. It's an exciting team in Gloucester, so I'm hoping that that we see some running rugby in this one, and it's not all CJ Stander making the meters all by himself. In the next one, it is Wasps up against Bath. So 2 teams from the Premiership, 2 teams both sitting with just that 1 loss. Very different losses the way they played last week. I mean, you look at Wasps, they got absolutely trounced by Leinster last week, 52 points to 3. It was a pretty disappointing shift. For Bath, disappointing in another way. They probably should have won that game last week. But yeah, couple of incidents in that one didn't go their way, and they ended up losing 22 points to 20 to Toulouse. So yeah, definitely time to bounce back with a win. And again, both teams sitting there with a loss probably need to get on the board sooner rather than later. Bath do have 1 point, having finished within 7 last week, so they are that marginal amount ahead. Wasps obviously sitting at the bottom on 0. Singer is back for Bath, so that's good news. Yeah, Chudley debuts at 9, so it's not a hugely changed lineup. Wasps, unchanged totally. So, I mean, you look at Sopwanga, you look at LaRue, you look at Daly. There's some talented guys in that team, and you'd think they should be scoring more than 3 points. Hopefully at home, they can kind of show us something else and really kickstart their campaign in Europe, because last week wasn't the best start. In the next one, Edinburgh against Toulon. Again, two teams with winless records thus far. But Edinburgh played a really entertaining game last week when they lost 21 points to 15 against Montpellier. It was an entertaining game where you feel like if a few chances had gone their way, they probably could have run away with that one away, but now they're back home. For Toulon, it was a pretty disappointing defeat against Newcastle at home. Some big names in that Toulon squad, and they just definitely didn't get things done last week. So we'll see if they're able to bounce back. For Edinburgh, there's only the one change. There's Jaco van der Walt, starts at number 10, so Simon Hickey is relegated to the bench. For Toulon, you've got Bastero back, so he's at 12. Fekitoa is at 13. Guirado's not on the team. Tranduk's on the bench, so there has been a bit of chopping and changing. We'll see if that does the trick for them, because as I said, last week was pretty disappointing, and they need to show us something else. Although, that being said, Edinburgh are the favourites with the bookies by 3 points. Edinburgh do have the extra day's rest due to the scheduling. So, again, when you're at home with the fans, kind of adding that extra bit of support, bit of rest, final 10-20 minutes, you never know, there might be enough to get them over the line. The next one, which is Racing against Ulster. Got the Ulster jersey on today. It feels pretty nice. Both these teams at the opposite end. They both had a win. Kicked off their campaigns pretty well. Again, different ways in which those results came about. This is Pool 4. So Racing got a kind of, I think it was 60th minute penalty try, which put them in front against Scarlets, and they did enough to hang on in that game. It was not quite a smash and grab, but it was definitely not a dominant performance. And for Ulster, it kind of was a dominant performance, especially in that second half. 24 points to 10 over Leicester last week. So, Ulster will be wanting to keep that form going, and Racing, if anything, will probably want to kind of bump things up as to how they went, try to get a bit more fluidity. For Racing, Teddy Thomas is back on the wing, so that's good. There's no Donica Ryan. Dominic Bird does start in the second row. For Ulster, there's no John Cooney, so Shanahan starts at 9. Kieran Treadwell and Moore start this week, so we'll see if those changes kind of affect the way the squad goes. They are not favoured to do that well this week. Racing are 14-point favourites by the bookies. They both played on Saturday last week, so there's not a whole lot between them in terms of rest. But, home and away is always a big factor, so we'll see if that makes the difference in this one. And the last game, Saracens against Lyon. Saracens having a pretty ground-out win last week against Glasgow. And Lyon, they went down to Cardiff, who showed some real points of brilliance last week, 30 points to 21. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one because, again, you probably thought Saracens, although, you're taking away win anytime you can get it, probably thought they would be a bit better than they were last week. For Lyon, I think at home against Cardiff, they were probably predicted to do a little bit better, so it'll be interesting to see if both these teams can kind of shift up. But that game against Glasgow was pretty costly for Saracens in terms of injuries. This week they got none of the Vuliponas. Ezekwe is out, so it's not going to be easy. But they do have Liam Williams back, and Spencer gets the nod at 9. For Lyon, it is the same starting 15. So they're showing a bit of trust in them to see if they can lift their performance levels. But in terms of bookies' predictions, this one is the biggest one-sided prediction. It is Saracens by 24 points. So if they didn't walk away with a bonus point from this one, bonus point win, you would imagine that it would probably be against the predictions because, they should be scoring 4 tries with this kind of prediction. So Again, both these teams played on Sunday last week, so there's no difference in terms of their rest. They should be kind of equal in that department, but how the results go is going to be another question. So, yeah, interesting set of fixtures. Obviously, Leicester got the job done this morning, or at least last night for European viewers, but here in New Zealand it wasn't this morning. So we'll see how these games go. I forget which one of these is being televised, but I will double check that in a minute. I'll definitely watch that one in full. You guys let me know your thoughts on these games. How do you think they're going to go? Do you see any upsets happening this week? Do you think that Exeter and Castres is going to be the closest? Do you think Saracens and Lyon is going to be the biggest kind of one-sided match? How do you think they're going to go? Players we should be looking out for, because again, I'm still getting the ropes with these Champions Cup fixtures, enjoying them very much, and yeah, still finding my feet a bit. So any guys you guys think I should be watching out for, let me know, and I will do that for sure. So yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.